Hi, I'm PJ, and today I'll be talking about my very first project that I used Touch Designer. This was like a year and a half back, and this is a part of my thesis project, which most of them have been here. It's called Pop My Bubble. This is how it looks visually. It's a mix of augmented reality and a visual projection mapping that's out there, and which is in the physical space, and you could interact it with your phone through a website. So this is the whole thing. So Pop My Bubble was about like my personal social echo chambers, which is called filter bubbles. And this one time I was noticing patterns and I felt like I was out of loop. I was not seeing like on my Instagram or everything, I couldn't find a lot of content that my friends were seeing. They were talking about it. And that's when, like any other artist, I decided to explore it through art and see what it is like. So I created like an AR experience where I kind of illustrated in my style 8 different bubbles of mine, which people could interact, and then they could pop my bubble, which would lead you to be able to interact with my visual projection. That's like at the background. So I animated these little cats right there. So this is how it actually is a system. I use Adobe Aero for the AR experience. Then it was connected to a website through an URL, and then it was connected, like the visual projection mapping was through Touch Designer and through WebSocket. And today I'll be just talking about the Touch Designer and the WebSocket part, just the second half. So thank you, TouchIn, for your six episode whole long tutorials. It came right in time for my thesis, so thank you so much. And yeah, so this was the projection that was on the screen, kind of, and this is the website you would put in. I kind of asked different prompts, is like, tell me what you're reading, or a podcast, because I prefer things like that, and I wanted to expand my bubbles in a way. People would type in answers and interact with the visuals, and all of this would accumulate within this, kind of expanding my bubble. And this is how it looked in real life as it was there. People would interact with it, little child playing with it. So I tried a lot of things. Like, as we know, as when we are starting our Touch Designer, we keep trying a lot of things. I tried optical flow. I tried the whole motion sensing part. I tried like the whole web scraping. There was like the whole tutorial on Twitter, how you get tweets off. I tried with Instagram. I failed. Then putting that into Unreal Engine, making it to VR. But then for me, WebSocket worked perfectly because it was like a seamless integration and you were getting real-time data. Because in some way, I wanted like a form of human interaction and to be like, it kind of reminded me of all the fine art galleries that I would go to, and after that, people would leave notes. So in a way, I wanted people to be a part of my art. So this is how I made it, and it was easily accessible. So now the technical part. We have the web app that communicates with the server, and then that communicates with Touch Designer, just like this. This is my website. And then I use render.com. TouchIn had a different thing that didn't work for me. So figuring that out, what server worked for me, was also like understanding all of this. I learned a lot in terms of just the communication part, whereas website was JavaScript, and then render.com and WebSocket was Python, so understanding all the languages. So this is the chain flow of things. So this is just 10 lines of code. Like, it's as simple, but I had to learn so much. Like, obviously there was a lot of trial and error. Like, this sends out, like the WS sends out the information to Touch Designer, and this is how I bought it. So what I did is I had all the questions, and all the questions I associated with a keyword, so that when you put in, so that's the word, like, so when someone would answer, I would know what question they would answer, and then I would populate it that way. And then there was a slider value too. So it was the word, the keyword, the answer, and the slider value. It was sending it to Touch Designer, which is, so I input JSON, and then it receives the data. And then it has 2 tables, the table modifier for sliders, which is like a separate test. So you use this, and then you use a separate that to like write down the code for each thing that you're inputting. So you can keep populating it with different control system. So this is my system, kind of making it organized just for me to refer later of what people were typing in. So it's kind of like having little keywords, then putting the answers in a more systematic way in a table format. This was a lot of like figuring how to do this and how to put in a keyword and figuring a lot of things in this. So this was all the system. Okay, it's too tiny here, but I can show the file later. But basically, actually, let me show my file. Hold up. So the whole point here is I got all of them in a table format, and then I converted them into a one single string, so that then this was imported within. Then I converted this into, so one it was a string, I had to bring it, and then I had to convert it into a text. Then I put it as a text, which I use as a texture later for my animation, as a 3D texture. So I had to convert. So this was the whole process behind it. Hold up, my bad. Yeah. So this is what the whole thing is, my process. But just to recap, I'm a creative tech based out of New York, just to introduce myself. But I'm 80% creative, 20% tech. I don't come from a tech background at all, or a music background, or an engineering background. I am just a creative visual digital artist. And then Touch Designer came to rescue. I was like, oh my God, this is a great way to dip your toes into tech and actually put your art out there. I realized it's a great bridge between art and tech, intuitive learning curve, very easy to understand and approachable, strong community support, like I can reach out to anybody, and I feel like I know so many people in the room today because of this, and people are so helpful, so nice. And it has access to great resources because YouTube is our best friend. And yeah, so thank you. I'm just a digital artist, and yeah. Yeah, do you have questions?
Hello. With WebSockets, can you go to like a major site like Google Maps and use the data from like traffic or like Facebook, for and find like certain keywords and then implement it to?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can put in a data from a lot of places. Like I have seen one on like where you get weather details and put it on, and you can make a visualization out of that. So there are also different API structure that you can put in, so you can definitely use it.
Okay, there's no like there's no like blocks from those major websites, right?
So I tried the API structure with not WebSocket, with Instagram, but there was a lot of blocks in that. So it depends how strict it is, the back end of where you're getting information from. But I'm sure a lot of people in this room will be able to help you with that aspect. So yeah, I'm just starting out. Thank you.
Thank you. Give it up.